reporter Nikole Killion joins us now live from Capitol Hill, where a vote is expected in the early morning. Nikole?
Yeah, that's right, Ken. Senate Republicans say they are moving forward with a vote in the Senate Judiciary Committee tomorrow morning after a day of emotional testimony from both sides.
This has destroyed my family and my good name.
Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh appeared before the Senate Judiciary Committee Thursday, forcefully denying he sexually assaulted Dr. Christine Blasey Ford when they were both in high school.
I'm not questioning that Dr. Ford may have been sexually assaulted by some person in some place at some time. But I have never done this to her or to anyone.
But under oath, Ford offered a different account.
I tried to yell for help. When I did, Brett put his hand over my mouth to stop me from yelling. I thought that Brett was accidentally going to kill me.
Republican lawmakers deferred to prosecutor Rachel Mitchell to poke holes in Ford's claims.
You said that you do not remember how you got home. Is that correct?
I do not remember.
Democrats called for an FBI investigation.
I welcome whatever the committee wants to do because I'm telling the truth.
The hearings lasted for about 8 hours. Republican senators met afterwards to discuss what comes next.
I don't see any reason for delay, and he's clearly a very fine man.
If every Democrat votes against Kavanaugh, the GOP can only afford to lose one vote.
Assuming we get to a floor vote, I certainly plan to support his nomination.
President Trump tweeted his full support for Kavanaugh, saying in part, "Judge Kavanaugh showed America exactly why I nominated him." The Senate Judiciary Committee is set to vote on Kavanaugh's nomination Friday, with the first Senate floor vote on Saturday. This evening, several Senate Democrats told me that at this point they really don't think there's much they can do to stop these votes from going forward. So as of now, Kavanaugh's confirmation could hinge on a handful of undecided Republicans.
Yeah, Nikole, it's got to be a bit of a sleepless night, though, for a few key Republicans who may be thinking, you know, is this the politically expedient thing to do, or am I going to get nailed if I vote this way? Are they giving any signs of how they might vote tomorrow morning?
Yeah, at this point, the one we're really keeping an eye on is Arizona Senator Jeff Flake. He is not running for re-election, and he has made clear that he is on the fence. And what's important to note is that the Senate Judiciary Committee, Republicans only hold a one-vote advantage, 11-10. So, for instance, if Flake does swing to the other side and, for instance, votes along with Democrats, then certainly that could scuttle Kavanaugh's nomination in that committee vote. So that's something we want to keep a close eye on tomorrow morning.
All
Ken?
right. Yeah, very interesting, and we'll be watching closely back here in San Francisco. Nikole Killion, thank you so much.
Rape, assault, we say no. Kavanaugh has got to go.
New at 10, supporters of Ford held a rally at UC Berkeley's Sproul Plaza and marched through town. Demonstrators held up signs saying they believe Ford and several other accusers. They also described Kavanaugh as a predator. A Cal student says she hopes Ford's testimony today emboldens other victims to speak out.
People don't realize how oppressed those who've been sexually assaulted are. We're so scared to speak out because we're so scared to be beaten down and told that we're lying, that we asked for it, that we wanted it, when that's not true at all.
The advocacy group, By Any Means Necessary, organized tonight's gathering. Other rallies happened earlier in Oakland and Palo Alto, Ford's hometown. Today, the hearing had heartfelt testimony and had a clear political dimension. Nightbeat's Andria Borba looks at some of the strategies.
As Dr. Christine Blasey Ford and Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh submitted their testimony to the Senate Judiciary Committee, Paula Henderson watched with a different eye than most. He was working for the NAACP during the Clarence Thomas confirmation hearings and submitted briefs trying to block Thomas. He says Dr. Christine Blasey Ford faced a much more respectful Senate than Anita Hill did.
I certainly saw a lot more respectability given to the victim. I certainly saw poignant and pressing questions presented in a way that allowed Dr. Ford to tell her story.
He said the one thing that struck him was the emotion displayed both by Dr. Blasey Ford.
I was pushed onto the bed, and Brett got on top of me. He began running his hands over my body and grinding into me.
And by the nominee, who are typically very controlled.
The other night, Ashley and my daughter Liza said their prayers, and little Liza, all of 10 years old, said to Ashley, we should pray for the woman.
In terms of tactics, Democrats and Republicans seem to be playing different hands, like this outburst from Lindsey Graham.
If you wanted an FBI investigation, you could have come to us. What you want to do is destroy this guy's life, hold this seat open, and hope you win in 2020. You've said that.
Seem to be focusing primarily on the tactics of the Democratic Party in bringing forward the testimony.
The question before tomorrow's vote is,
Dr. Ford seemed credible. And now what do you do with that credibility?
Shades once again of the Anita Hill, Clarence Thomas hearings.
Are the results going to be different? We don't know.
Now, just this evening, the American Bar Association said the Senate Judiciary Committee should delay Kavanaugh's confirmation vote until the FBI can investigate all charges of sexual assault. On the Nightbeat, I'm Andria Borba.